welcome to Reality Hour. I'm Adam Samuel. It's been a while, but we are back with some America's Got Talent. We've arrived at the judges' cuts. Finally, after weeks and weeks, the auditions have passed. We've got that awkward break because of COVID to kind of allow the production to restructure. But yes, we have some new content to talk about. Joining me for this podcast is my co-host Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm tired. How are you? For work, I just basically had a whole week of lots of great webinars. I was doing tech support and putting all of them on, helping all of them go smoothly. So I have had a very busy week, and I'm excited to talk about the crap that went down on America's Got Talent.
Well, Eric, we've made it. It's the judge cuts. It's been
and we're them already too.
It's been the longest since the beginning of the audition, since we've gotten gap between auditions number 1 and judge cuts 1. But yeah, this was definitely a different season, Eric. How we're doing these cuts.
Yeah. So basically, I don't want to talk about a lot about the acts that got cut. I want to talk about a format, and I want to talk about the 5 acts that made it through. But
we do also need to talk about the acts that were cut because
we will, but not the ones that were cut after they performed.
Okay. But I lost a golden buzzer.
I lost one of my golden buzzers too, Adam. So
why can't we have more acts in the live shows? No. I mean,
honestly, so here's my thing about the live shows. I like the idea of putting more acts for the live shows, but I'm also disappointed that we're getting less performances from them than we normally would, because a lot of them didn't perform in this round. So
all right. I have a confession. In recent seasons, with the new structure of judge cuts, this was probably my least favorite round of the show. Yeah, I say that genuinely. The judge cuts round were always the most. I always found them dragged out with how they would do with the special guest judge and a second golden buzzer. It just felt like a continuation of the auditions. At least this way we're done. It was 1 week. It was 1 episode. We've passed it. We are moving on. I like the system. I liked the best was when we got kind of a Hollywood round where it was kind of over maybe 2 weeks, and each episode was kind of focused on the singers, the magicians, and the comedians.
Closer to that than the judge cuts usually are.
Yeah, so this was. I didn't love this episode, but it was. I would much prefer it over the extenuated. It just, for me, the judge cuts dragged. Do you disagree? I'm guessing you do.
I mean, I hate the format of judge cuts, but I wish they would have replaced it with, rather than additional week of live shows, adding more contestants to live shows. I wish we would have gotten a top 6 instead of a top 10 in the finale.
Yeah, I the best round was was that? No, yeah, that season was Kenichi Ibina's season was
top
the
6
peak of format.
And the year after was also a top 6. I just prefer 6 in the finale so much over 10 in the finale, because then the 6 can all perform twice, and it's more performances, and you actually get a little bit more invested in these people before they're done with the show. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying. But what do you think of the drive-in movie theater set?
I actually thought it was pretty cool. I would have liked ideally I would have liked the contestants there. It felt very intimate. Is that the word? It felt very kind of
opposite of what I felt like. What are you talking about?
I liked it. I'm saying if the acts had been there, it felt super awkward, with the giant screen.
Yeah, I'm talking about the giant screen, Adam.
Oh no, the giant screen was awkward. That was there's no getting around it. But had the acts actually gotten to be there, I'm saying is when I thought it would have been cool. But
see, my annoyance with this was that I'm going to go back to talk about Remote Idol for a bit. So the great thing about Remote Idol, and the only great thing about Remote Idol, was that the judges weren't able to interrupt the acts because they couldn't tape them with the acts and it wouldn't work. The terrible thing about this format is that it enabled all the worst parts of AGT, without keeping any of the best parts. So the judges were able to play their usual far too big role for the show. And the contestants weren't there to actually, perform with. It wasn't the same. But I will say, the one thing that I did appreciate is that they kept Remote Idol's miracle of having great at-home audio and video quality. So I'm sort of wondering, did they also send everyone an iPhone for free?
Just another reason American Idol's better, Eric.
No, I'm saying that Idol wasn't. I mean, the audio quality and video quality for AGT was just as good as Idol. Is what I'm saying.
Because they sent them mics and they sent them kind of equipment.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many iPhones each of these contestants got.
Did we talk about this before? Did they have to give back the iPhones on American Idol?
The finalists did not actually. They got to keep.
Hello. That's the prize. You're going home in 10th, but you get an iPhone.
Over with the season. Here's a free iPhone.
But you overall, so for the episode as a whole, do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? What's kind of your stance on how this all was?
Can I give it a thumbs 3/4 up, or is that cheating?
I think that's cheating, Eric. I think you got to be one way or the other.
Well, 3/4 up would imply thumbs
I guess rounding up. But yeah, so for the episode itself, it starts where we get some announcements of the acts that are going straight through to the live shows, and then we have some that are kind of on the bubble, and then some that are just not shown at all. They're just unceremoniously cut, which it just sucks. Like there's no way around it, because here's my like super cynical America's Got Talent viewer brain. It's that barring any like major meltdowns during the judge cuts, if there had been the traditional judge cuts, I think the same acts would have made it through that were like given the pass.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it just feels such a bummer that we didn't get some of these acts to perform again. Like I said, I lost my golden buzzer. I lost another act, Elijah, who I was really looking forward to seeing again. And just the situation just stinks. And it almost makes me wish they would have just, I feel like it's better. What's your stance on this, Eric? Would you rather have just gotten a no and not be on the show, or would you have rather gotten on the show and gone out like this, where you just unceremoniously, without even being featured on the episode, just get sent home?
I think it's neither of the contestants. I mean, it's kind of tough because either way they're getting cut. So the question is, what gives them the most? What lets them get the most out of it before they get cut? And I feel like if your audition gets 4 no's, or you don't make it for your audition, a lot of people watch the audition. So I'm kind of torn about maybe they should have let them through and cut them, because then their auditions get more viewers that way. But
Can we talk a minute about these acts that kind of get the straight pass to the live shows? Are there any names here that kind of really jump out at you as either surprises or that you're really happy to see kind of making it through? We're not going to go through all the acts, but just at a passing glance, any standouts here?
Well, my favorites, basically all except one made it through. Nolan Neal was one on the bubble, and we'll talk about him later. Alex Hooper made it straight through, which I'm happy about.
That is one case where I will say he would have gone home. Like they're just saving him for one more performance, Eric.
Alex Hooper?
Yeah.
I hope you're wrong.
All I can say is I got Noah. Like, I got my one golden buzzer. Don't think he can win. I don't even know if he'll make it through the next round. What was Pork Chop Review? That is totally.
I don't remember.
I saw a lot of people really kind of passionately talking about them. Fang E, that was the kid on Ellen. Kelvin Dukes, Malik Dope. There was one name that I actually also saw. I saw it like posted on Reddit. Belo Knock and his daughter made it to. They're also going. Some of these are just like such head scratchers. Like how many times has he been? He was on AGT. He was on AGT Champions. He was on BGT Champions. His daughter was on a contestant, and now this is his 5th run on the show. So, what? Look, I enjoy this dude. I think he's
I
talented,
thought you
but
like returning contestants, Adam.
I do. But like 5 times, like
AGT is determined to make sure you don't like returning contestants anymore by bringing them back so many times that you're sick of them.
and they're not even going to be like given a fair shot. They've been montaged the entire time. Like I barely knew they were on the season. Like, if they're going to be returning contestants, you would think like give them a bit more attention, but no, they're just there,
and they'll be
they're there, and then they'll be gone. Like that's all there really is to say here. But like I said, Eric, are there any names here on the list that you think don't maybe deserve to go through that you that did get the yes?
None that I mean, most of them didn't deserve to go through, but we have to have 44 acts through, so there's that.
I don't know. I almost would have rather, like, this is a really terrible idea. What would you have thought? You do away with the judge cuts. You cut the round out. You put that money, you save that week for another live show, and you say, all right, America's Got Talent, we're putting a, what do you call it? Where you vote on things. Like, where you could, a poll where you can vote, and the top 60 vote getters are officially our top going into the live shows. Is that a bad idea?
The problem is there's so many acts, so it's kind of hard to figure out how to make that work.
Just for every single act that got a yes, whether it be 60 or 100, it's probably like 89
problem
or
is
something.
we didn't see all of those acts, so
well then just put them up anyway. Like let the people run their campaign. Like this is the hand we've been dealt.
I'm torn, but anyway.
All right. Well, another thing I do want to talk about is this is the part of the show that I actually just really don't like, where we get the eliminated contestants of we get I think there are 4 or 5 names that are they're just cut. And they're not just cut, they're cut purposely to break the people's hearts. Like there's no love here. Like this is just I found it a little bit cruel, Eric.
That's what AGT is, though. And I'm not saying I'm happy about it. I agree with you, but I'm saying it's not new.
But why do they get a pass for this? Like why do we let them get away with doing it? Not just there's like a little girl there, and they're just.
You can ask the same question about American Idol.
Well, the American Idol's not like, at least they're 15. This is like a kid. Like,
yeah. Basically, I mean, I hate talking about the eliminations because, I mean, I feel like I don't like any of these shows being mean to people, but it's like the one thing I like about The Voice, and the only thing I like about The Voice is that there are no bad auditions, and that everyone who gets on that show has a good experience.
Well, these people, they were. Can you imagine just being so like? Didn't we talk about like on American Idol? Like, should you just cut them in the first round rather than like if someone who's not ready for Hollywood Week?
Exactly.
Yeah. But then again, also some of these people maybe. Like Winston was cut here, like,
and I liked him a lot. He was one of my original Golden Buzzers before I changed him, and I'm glad I changed him now because, yeah, he's gone. I'm shocked. I mean, he got a lot of views on YouTube, so clearly we just don't want him to win. Don't want a magician.
He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What does this show become, Eric? It's like in Star Wars, like where Obi-Wan Kenobi sees like Darth Vader. He's like, I don't know who you are or something. I haven't seen those movies in a long time. I love them, but I'm just... Anyway, so we get to the actual kind of performances. So correct me if I'm wrong first, Eric. The judges are given, because we don't have the whole buzzers that they can press because of this whole thing. The judges get these awkward paddles, like just.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong. No one used them at all this episode.
Did they not? I mean, I only watched the 10 acts that made it through.
I heard people saying that they weren't used at all. I mean,
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're useless anyway. Plus, the judges arms would get tired having to keep holding them up.
Yeah, can you imagine like your hands getting tired? Like, what if someone starts performing like in the first few seconds? You're like, nope. Oh wait, this is still going on. Like, my hand's getting tired.
Clearly, they weren't just going to use them unless all 4 of them were going to use them together. So, anyway,
so how are we going to be doing this discussion, Eric? What are we talking about?
We're talking about the 5 acts that got through.
All right, so we will just talk about those 5. So, first up, Simon and Maria. They are kid ballroom dancers. Now, I will say, as Grace and other viewers probably knows also, I've watched a couple seasons of Dancing with the Stars, and I've not seen a lot of ballroom dancing, but I've seen some from that show. And this was not at all comparable to some of the stuff I've seen on that show, Eric.
Yep. I mean, they're cute. They're not terrible, but they're nothing special, and they're totally fodder. So they'll be gone round 1.
Yeah, we get one of these acts like every season. Like there's the kid ballroom dancers. The only one that I think was the best of this kind of archetype. Is that the word? Was DeAndre. Oh my God, I don't remember his name. It was the little kid and the girl. They were in the Untouchables. DeAndre and Amanda, I think.
No memory.
They were like it was the brother and sister, and the brother. If anyone out there in the chat, if you can help us out, I think it was DeAndre and Amanda. Oh, wait, I gotta figure this out. I usually know my stuff for this. AGT. Let's see. D'Angelo and Amanda. No, that can't be right. No, D'Angelo and Amanda. That was who I was talking about. They were good. But these kids, it was just a little sloppy. Like it was just.
I mean, look, I'm not talking about kids. I mean, they made it through. Still get one more performance at least, but you know.
Yeah, this is just because, like, if I was watching these people perform, like, at a talent show or on this, like, anywhere else, it's just through the lens of America's Got Talent. Like, the show is just, it's almost like corrupted me. Like, if I'm walking on the streets in New York City and I see, like, I don't know, some street performers, like, if I had not watched the show, it would have been like, oh, that's pretty good. But because I've watched the show, it's like, exactly that, what you just did.
Way to use my tiredness to your advantage, Adam.
And that's how you pivot. All right, who are we talking about next?
Let's just do. I'm just gonna go in the order I wrote him down. Jonathan Goodwin.
Jonathan Goodwin, yeah, we get one of these every season. I'm telling you, like it's pretty much the same kind of act. The act is basically a delivery mechanism of the giant thrill of the arrow might hit him. It's just a repackaging of the same thing, Eric.
Is it me, or was this danger act not quite as dangerous as it could have been?
Are you really? This is where we're at in the season. We're now criticizing the danger acts for not being dangerous enough.
I mean, I was kind of bored. I mean, the fact that I could watch it and not have to look away at any point.
That's a really bad sign.
That's a really bad sign. I'm honestly surprised we made it through after this, but you know,
America's Got Talent needs to scare Eric again. It needs to.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But it also doesn't. It also needs to not bore Eric.
That is the worst crime America's Got Talent can commit. Boring Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any thoughts on this. It's just played out. I've seen these things. It's an elaborate build up to the same thing, and it just doesn't deliver. It doesn't stand up for me. I'm not impressed here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, like,
let's move on to our not a plant of the season, shall we?
who is that?
Shakira McGrath.
I gotta tell you, I love this girl.
Me too.
I think she might be one of my since I lost Jacob and Elijah. I think Shakira was like my fourth for the season. And look, is she the best singer? No. Is she a good singer? Yeah. Can she win? No. But she's good, and I like her. She's Shakira McGrath. She performs "Wake Me Up" by Avicii, a song that usually is reserved for like fodder acts, but hey, she made it through.
Yep, good for her. Good for her for not being a plant and still somehow making it through.
I want her to win just for that. If it was up to me, I'm not even joking. I would. Every other person this season has like plants written on their face.
You know what? I'm just happy for her, and she's got a pretty damn great voice too. So
Oh yeah, she's really good, but I don't think she makes it through the next round. I think
I hope
she's
so. I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. One way of looking at being on the bubble is that, hey, they don't like you very much, and we're going to get rid of you soon. The other way is, hey, they think you haven't gotten enough attention, so we're going to make you perform again.
Come on, the whole on the bubble thing is just BS. It's just we need an episode, so we're gonna take some familiar faces. There's no like, if we were really doing this whole on the bubble, we would have a totally different lineup. The point of this was just we're gonna give you an episode, and we're just gonna pluck some familiar faces to kind of
yeah, basically. Anyway,
but I like Shakira. I like the performance. This song is. When did this song come out? I feel like this song was like really old.
2012, somewhere in that range.
Yikes. I remember listening to this in high school, like on the bus, like going to school. That's how old it is. Eric is now casually Googling it. I'm going to guess 2011.
We are both wrong. It is 2013.
Wow. 2013. 7 years ago. I was 18. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, the one thing I will say is that in her audition, I remember Shakira. She was doing country, right?
Yes.
Is it bad to kind of pivot?
Nope. That's how you pivot.
I actually disagree. I do think it, in general, it would be bad to pivot. Like if you're, I don't know, like what's the comparison? If you're a dancer and all of a sudden in your next act you're juggling, like that's a bad thing. But I feel like Shakira's, nothing against her, but I feel like she's not she doesn't have that many eyes on her right now. So I feel like she could get away with it. I feel other acts wouldn't be able to though.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I enjoy her. Who are we talking about next?
Let's save Nolan for last. Let's talk about Max.
Max. He was good. He is our. How many magicians do we have this season? Do we have a lot?
I'm going to disagree with you on that, actually.
What?
That he was good.
Oh, no, I was just kind of using that as a. Like, I didn't really get to my real thoughts. I was just saying, like, when I say that, it's just because I'm, like, casually, like, switching, like, looking through my notes. And I just need something to say
we
to
now
fill the
know that Adam's default is that was good.
You know what? Everyone can be good. Everyone can be good until we need to talk about them for real.
Okay.
That's your title. Everyone's good for a second.
No. Adam's default, that was good. That's the title of this episode.
All right. What did you think?
I thought that it wasn't very good because this was a type of trick that takes no effort on his part to pull off. Because the cards are clearly gimmicked, and that's just, I mean, there's no other way to do it other than the cards being trick cards. And so, because this one didn't actually take effort for him to pull it off, I'm extremely underwhelmed.
How did he do it?
Cards. How do you make cards change on the spot? There's a gimmick cards. Those cards
Magic
were
is
all blank until they needed to not be.
Eric is not a fan of Magic this season. Is that?
I'm a fan of Magic when I actually legitimately can't figure out how something is done. But or when I say even if I can figure it out, I realize it takes skill to actually pull it off. Then I'm a fan of it. But this was just like this was too perfect, and this is the type of Magic that I just don't like.
Yeah, it was. This is like, well, the other kind. It's similar to like the 4 boxes, like the 4 boxes of Doom, a little bit.
It's not as bad as the 4 boxes, but it's close.
Oh God, I really hope we get a 4 boxes trick this season.
Oh, we're gonna. Just
we haven't in a while though. Like it's
they're saving it. They're saving it for now.
it's like a sneak attack. You will be lulled into like a sense of comfort, and then all of a sudden, bam, 4 boxes.
Yep.
The 4 boxes of Doom.
Let's talk about Nolan, shall we?
Nolan. This was Mr. Golden Buzzers of Eric, right? This was one of them.
This was my favorite first audition of the entire season.
All right.
I have to be honest, I found this quite underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. I was not really that impressed with it. It was all right. I mean,
I liked it, and I'm still happy he's through, and I still hope he goes far. But this was such a downgrade from where I saw him at first, and I hope that he can recover from it. Because his first audition, that song that he played in his first audition, I've been listening to it like on repeat for the past several weeks, and it's a good song. He's got a great voice. This didn't show off either, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But I'm hoping he can recover.
Yeah, I found it generic. Like nothing. Just I don't know. What was it about that first audition that really compelled you to give him the Golden Buzzer?
He showed off his voice a lot more in that first audition, and it was a lot. I was a lot more impressed by it. This song, the arrangement he picked, gave him no room to shine. So
what would you say he needs to do in the next round? Like what song? Have you got a song?
Do an original. He needs to stick with his originals clearly, because on paper this cover could have been good, but it just wasn't. So I want to hear another original.
Have you been keeping up with his original music? Has he got any other good stuff that he's?
I haven't listened to any of his other stuff. I'm waiting to be surprised.
All right. So those are actually the 5 acts. Is there anyone here that you kind of want to give a shout out to or mention? I will just say, I'll go first. Ryan Tricks. He had Alicia Dixon there. How did that happen?
Connections and plantiness.
I was surprised he didn't make it, honestly.
I mean, yes, but it was a little bit of a surprise.
But yeah, the Alicia Dixon card did not work. But yeah, anyone you want to kind of?
Alicia Dixon didn't really work on AGT Champions either, hence why we have Sophia. So.
Well, she would have to have fly back and forth, you know. I'm right, and you know it.
No.
I know it was before COVID.
It was before COVID that they made the decision. So no, nothing to do with that. It was. I mean, I like Alicia a lot as a judge, but it just didn't click. Anyway.
Anyone you want to talk? Any last minute mentions or shout outs? I have one more if you don't.
Go ahead.
Have any. Craig Reed, the hula hooper, like the act itself was but I gotta say the setup, like where he performed, was really cool. Like it was.
Watch it.
What?
I will go watch it.
It was like a movie set. Like there was all this just cool stuff around him. I was like, the act is one thing, but like I just want to look around at what you've got going on, because it's just there's a lot of cool stuff here. But yeah, otherwise for me, I didn't love this episode. But then again, I haven't loved an episode of America's Got Talent since the fact that I need to think about this should tell you everything. But yeah, any other things you want to talk about from the episode?
Not really. I mean, I just want to briefly touch on where we go from here, which is that
Yes.
they're going to be in a studio. They're going to have the acts in the studio with them, and there's going to be a virtual audience, which I just applied to be in. So,
A virtual audience. Okay. Are you familiar with Black Mirror?
no.
So, Black Mirror is a show that is like the Twilight Zone. Each episode's kind of a unique thing. There was one episode where there's this scenario where basically people go what's essentially America's Got Talent, but like a Black Mirror Twilight Zone version of it. And the contestants walk on stage, and there's the three judges, and
they're
each
all
one yells, "What?"
And they're
No,
all
it's like there's a Simon. It was actually like based off like an American Idol. Like there's Randy, there's Paul, but then behind them is just virtual like an audience, and they're all like me.
You just totally ignored my joke that the Twilight.
I got it. I got it.
Damn it.
But the audience is just they're all like me, like Nintendo me's. Like they're just like really like no, it's like creepy, and this is gonna give me like PTSD to that. I'll send you a link to it if you haven't.
I'll watch that link.
Well, no, it's a good. It's actually someone sings, and she actually sings really, really well. It was a good. What?
I will skip anything that looks creepy to you. Anyway,
it's not like creepy. It's just like off-putting.
No. Anyway, I am looking forward to the live shows. I'm hoping that they don't get canceled. That they can actually go forward with the plans that they came up with. But as COVID rates are rising again, we'll see.
Well, I actually do have one other thing to kind of share because looking online, I see we've got our acts lineup for the first live show.
We do?
Yes. Here we go. On the first live show, the acts appearing in the first... I'm reading this off the MJs. The acts appearing in the first live show are Archie Williams, Bello and Annalise Knock. They'll perform first and then quietly walk off stage. They'll just perform and then they'll just...
Archie is last, by the way. I'll continue.
Divas and Drummers of Compton.
Cut.
Double Dragon. Who are they? I don't even remember.
They were really good, but they picked a terrible song.
All right. Fang E.
Fodder.
He's cut next round. He'll make it one round, I think.
Okay.
Then we got Frenchie Baby. Who's Frenchie Baby?
No idea. Continue.
Michael Yo.
Who
is he? Was he a comedian?
Yes, he was. Continue.
Pork Chop Review.
Okay, then.
Roberta Batagalia.
Sailing Crew.
Shakira McGrath. And Simon and Maria. I am voting for Shakira. I'm going to be...
Out of that list, I probably voted for her and Roberta. So,
how many people are making it through?
I don't know. And neither do you.
Can you take a guess?
My guess would be how many names was that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Well, 12. My guess is 6. Is my guess. Either 5 or 6.
Eric, do you have one? If you could make one, if someone was to go to you and Eric is all of a sudden a fortune teller, and they go, Eric, give me one prediction for something that is 100% true going to happen on America's Got Talent this season. What is your prediction for the season? One thing that is definitely going to come true.
My favorite is not going to win.
Oh, God.
That's just a fact. I know that now.
My prediction is Howie's going to say something stupid.
Well, that's a gimme.
No, but I will say, this is like something I've started to notice. Like with Howie Mandel, at this point, you and I, we treat him like a bit of a joke. You know, like we like to make fun of kind of some of his decisions. The problem is that he got that. He got. We started to see him that way because he made bad decisions. I feel like we're overdue for a bad Howie Mandel decision.
Yes, we are, and we're
Which
gonna
is like the reminder where it's gonna stop being funny and gonna go back to the original way we felt about Howie Mandel.
Okay. I'm glad you think it's funny. I just think it's really freaking annoying at this point.
Well, no, there's no good things with Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel ruins everything. Anyway,
we're not going to use it again.
What's the schedule for the next few weeks? When's America's Got Talent coming back, and when are we going to be filming it?
And we'll be back 2 weeks after it airs.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, but we have another show coming up next week that I will say I am ridiculously hyped for. Big Brother All Stars. I am still in the process of trying to convince Eric to podcast with me. No, we don't know about that yet, but. Is there any show you're kind of looking forward to that's coming out in the coming weeks? Anything exciting that you wish?
Yeah, I wish.
I mean, Big Brother is.
In normal years, would be ramping up to X Factor, which is kind of sad that we're not. But
there's really no X Factor this season.
Nope, it's being rested for a year.
Rested. It's like a puppy or a baby. It needs to be laid down
and not killed, but we'll see.
It's not shot out back like old Lassie.
They did renew it for one more season at least, so it will be back eventually, possibly.
Are we going to get another? Celebrity?
No, we're
not. Oh my God!
I hope we're not, because if we are, then I will officially say rest in peace, X Factor.
Surprisingly, we have been making like a few references to it, like this season, like some weird comparisons.
As bad as it was better than last season of Idol and this season of AGT, and that's a really sad sign.
Anything else you kind of want to talk about here, Eric?
Not particularly.
All right. Well, then I can say I'm Adam Samuel. I run my website, adamsoapbox.com, and my other YouTube channel. Adam Samuel. You can find it down in the links. I posted a new video this past week reviewing Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. A different kind of video to film. It's weird to go from Reality Hour to like my own book reviews because it's so much work. It is so much work. I film my episodes wrong. Like I will say, like. When people do these kind of videos, I imagine like they sit in front of their camera, they talk for an hour, and then they take that hour and cut it down to like 10 minutes. For me, I script the entire thing and I read the same sentence like 10 times, pick the right one, put it in. Eric shakes his head. Just shakes his head. No?
That sounds exhausting. Anyway.
It is exhausting. One video, that 4-minute video that I posted for Axiom's End, I think took me 4 hours to film.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I am Eric. You can find me on Twitter at Eric_Ascher or ericascher.com or bit.ly/EricLawViz.
Guys, this was fun. We will be back whenever Eric just said. I think he said 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks for AGT, possibly between then. We'll see what happens.
Have a good week. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Bye, everybody.